Alrighty folks, welcome back to That's Just My Opinion. I am Merlin, and today we shall be discussing The Bridge Kingdom, Book 1 of the Bridge Kingdom series by Daniela L. Jensen. So, this is kind of more of a high fantasy romance novel hybrid, so I was very interested to read this one. So we start out with our heroine, Laura, going to dinner with her father and her 11 sisters. Come to find out that her and her sisters are all princesses. They are the daughters of this king, and he is basically sequestered them in this compound in the desert to be raised to be these perfect little assassin spies, and one of them shall be chosen to go and marry the king of the Bridge Kingdom and spy on them for their home country, because they have been raised to believe that the Bridge Kingdom is evil and awful and they must destroy them. Yeah, you can guess that, Daddy-O has been lying to them. So Laura goes to dinner. You see that one of her other sisters has been chosen to be the queen, and then all the girls just drop in the middle of dinner. They all look dead except for Laura, and she's like, well, I murdered all my sisters. I'm your only choice now. And, well, after this, you find out that after they leave, they burn the compound, but they don't burn the girls per Laura's request. Yeah, you find out pretty quickly that Laura faked all of her sisters' deaths, so she would be chosen because she found out that her father was planning on murdering all of them once he had left with the selected girl, because he doesn't want anybody to find out about his plans for obvious reasons, so murder all of the evidence. So they leave. They're going to go to the Bridge Kingdom, also called Ithacana, and they are going to get some of the names out here. They are Mardrinian. So Mardrina and Ithacana are our two big players right now. In the background, we have a war going on with another kingdom called Velkata. And now that we are leaving the desert and we are going to travel to Ithacana, I need to explain a little bit about the geography of this world. So there are two continents, a northern and a southern continent, and in between is an archipelago, and the archipelago is Ithacana. Mardrina is on the southern continent, and basically the sea that is between the northern and southern continent is super stormy. There's only like 2 to 3 months out of the year where it's not. And it's called the Tempest Sea, and Ithacana spans that, and Ithacana has a bridge that runs between all the islands and connects the north to the south, so trade can actually get through during the storm seasons. That's why Ithacana is really important, and everyone thinks they're super duper wealthy. And so there was a big war 15 years before between Velkata and Ithacana. They signed a peace treaty predicated on eventually, at some point, one of the princesses would marry the prince. Here we go, arranged marriage. So Laura and her dad, they sail to the southernmost island, Southwatch. They have the marriage ceremony with the king of Ithacana. Before this, of course, Daddy-O reminds Laura that if you betray me, I will kill you. You have 1 year to complete your assignment. Give me a plan, a strategy to take down the Bridge Kingdom. So that's her plan. She gets married, and they knock her ass out and take her to further into Ithacana. So, and this is where this is a split POV, so we do get Arin and Laura. Arin is the king of Ithacana. We do get both of their perspectives. So this is when we get our first Arin perspective, and Arin is obviously not super stoked about this arranged marriage for obvious reasons. Also the fact that Ithacanians are incredibly secretive. They protect their bridge and the secrets of this bridge very strongly, so this is the first time they've ever had an outsider as queen, so not a lot of people are very happy about that. And you also find out that Arin has a twin sister named Anna, who Anna is supposed to marry, again, part of this same peace treaty. She's supposed to marry a prince of one of the northern kingdoms, but Arin is like, no, I will never make you do that. And I'm like, dude, so you're gonna break the treaty. The author kind of glances over that fact. So the next part of the book is really kind of just Lara scheming, starting to, you know, try to pick apart what's going on Ithacana, you know, try to find out their secrets. Aron debating whether he wants to keep her locked up in this house on Midwatch, or does he bring her into the fold on their secrets, because they have secrets. And, you know, them doing back and forth, some chemistry between them because they're both fighters, but Lara pretending to be the perfect, meek, and mild Maradrenian bride, which she sucks at. So they end up having their tete-a-tetes and, you know, back and forths, whatever. And then, of course, she does end up getting the secrets of the bridge revealed to her. She finds out this stuff. She starts seeing some things that are contradicting her father's rhetoric that he told her and her sisters, that Ithacana is greedy and power hungry, and they're the reason their people are starving, and blah, blah, blah. But Lara has been indoctrinated with this idea, and so she ends up writing out a secret message to her father on a bunch of Aron stationery saying, you know, this is basically how you take the bridge, and she's planning on faking her own death so then she can disappear, because she knows that once her mission is complete, her dad's gonna kill her. Yeah, he definitely makes it into the Dickhead Dad Club, just saying. So she pretends she's gonna go fake her death, but Aron stops her, and he ends up getting to the point where battles happen where there's raiders that come and try to attack Ithacana. The raiders, they end up fighting them off, and Lara ends up just through these fights bonding with Aron and the other Ithacanians to the point where Aron lets her in on the big secret, the biggest secret, which is kind of a letdown, is that there is a secret fortress city in Ithacana called Arenal, which is basically a city built into a hollowed out volcano, like a volcano that blew up, and they've built a city within it. That is the big secret. That is the seat of power in Ithacana. That's the big secret. Not gonna lie, bit of a letdown. So she ends up having a change of heart, because of course she does, and her plan is that when they get back to Midwatch, that's where they were, that she's going to destroy the letters and everything's going to be hunky-dory. They end up getting attacked. Things go pretty south with Maradrena, and they get back to their house, and then Aron gets ready he's going to write a letter to her dad to tell him basically, leave us alone, or, you know, things are going to go south. And he also figures out that Lara's the spy, because of course he figures it out, and she comes clean to him, but not all the way clean. She doesn't tell him about the letters, so of course he writes a letter and sends it with the secret message on the back. Lara comes in a little bit later, finds the papers, thinks she destroys all of them, but of course we already know that letter has consent, so then, you know, we get a few more weeks of bliss for them before, of course, the Maradrenians invade and absolutely wreck the Bridge Kingdom. Lara and Aron go through the beats you expect, the angsting, the "you betrayed me's." And yeah, it follows that with Aron telling her, "Get out, I never want to see you again, go, run." And she does, and she escapes to the north where she's going to hide out and do something. The epilogue is, I'm pretty sure this is epilogue. I read these books back to back. I blend a little bit at the end of book 2 with the beginning, or the end of book 1 with the beginning of book 2 right here. But they happen pretty back to back. That you find out that Aron has been captured and is being kept alive by Daddy-O, and Lara knows that it's to draw her out, so she's on the warpath to go bust out her bow. So that's where it ends. Da-da-da, book 1 of the Bridge Kingdom. Alright, getting into our thoughts here. I like the characters for the most part. Lara definitely falls into your badass thing. I wasn't a huge fan of what the author did at the very beginning with the bait and switch of her character, of where, because the way it's written, you think that Laura just like straight up murdered all of her sisters, and you're like, okay, stone cold here. You know, she'll do anything to survive. But then, you know, you find out like in the next chapter that it was faking all of their deaths. So I was like, I would have actually liked it more, I think, if we could have seen Laura interacting with her sisters, so we could see how much she cared about them and how much she was willing to do anything to protect them before she did the poisoning thing. I also think that would have ramped up the tension during the dinner, because of just like, oh god, is anybody gonna find out that they're actually alive? But that's neither here nor there. Yeah, Aron, he's your pretty typical king, wants to do what's best for his people, good person, good fighter. He's pretty generic, if I'm going to be honest. I mean, he's nothing terrible, but I mean, there wasn't anything about him that like really stood out to me. And then, okay, getting into the world building here for a hot second. So like I said earlier, that the world is like 2 continents with Ithacana in the middle. Basically, the only way to reliably get goods between the north and the south is through that bridge. The problem I have is that Ithacana, one, is so heavily isolated, like they are hardcore isolationists just to protect the secrets of the bridge, that their people cannot leave. Like, the only time their people get to leave are when they're like trained spies. Otherwise, you do not leave Ithacana. The other thing is, like, they do make a shit ton of money off their bridge, but they spend that much money buying like weapons and food supplies because of all the storms. It makes it hard for their people to farm or fish. So they're not really rolling in the dough like people think they are. So my thing with that is, I'm like, one, you're a mercantile empire. Like, flex those muscles if you need to, like. And the other thing is, like, Ithacana is supposed to be neutral. Like, you're supposed to be purely neutral. I'm like, one, you're a mercantile empire. There's no way you're going to be purely neutral. I'm sorry, that's just not going to happen. And it's just, I think that they needed to flex some of those mercantile powers a bit more with, like, embargoing people, because part of the problem is that, like, during the calm season, like the 2-3 months out of the year when there's no storms, the other countries in the different continents come and raid the crap out of them, trying to take the bridge. I'm like, why don't you punish them for that? Like, you know, because they don't try to hide who they are. There's no sneaky, like, no sail under no flags, no color sort of thing. Like, no, they know, like, oh, it's the Velkatans that are attacking us. I'm like, why not then, after, you know, they know, like, hey, we got your guys here that tried to raid us, we're not going to allow you to trade, or, like, ramp up their tariffs or taxes or something. Like, actually flex some muscles here, folks. That's how you keep people from beating the crap out of you. But yeah, that was one thing with the world building that kind of drove me nuts, because I was just like, you have power because you are the only reliable way to get goods between the north and the south. Like, use your abilities here, not just go, well, they raid us, that's how things are. So, because part of Aron, okay, I will say part of Aron's character that I did like is he wants to build a better future for his people. Part of it is opening Ithacana up to not be so isolationist, but I mean, that's obviously comes with the cost of giving up the secrets of the bridge and everything. So yeah, overall, I thought this was pretty good. I would definitely give Bridge Kingdom 3 out of 5. Not terrible, not great, didn't hate it, didn't love it. So up next is going to be book 2 of the series, The Traitor Queen. So yes, prepare thyself for the angst. So yeah, that'll be the next video coming up, but Bridge Kingdom, 3 out of 5, but hey, that's just my opinion. If you disagree with me, that's totally cool, and if you'd like to see me take a crack at something in particular, leave your comments down below, and I will talk to you guys in a little while.